Hello everybody and welcome. This is Adrian. Thank you so much for joining me today. And let's try a new game. We're going to be doing just a small episode here today on this new game. It's called Hegemony III, Clash of the Ancients. It came out in, I believe, August of 2015. I just picked it up recently in the Steam Summer Sale. And so I wanted to do a little Let's Play on it. See if I can, have some fun with this game. I've only played it a couple hours, but so far it seems pretty interesting. So let's jump right into it. Let's go for a new game. So if you're not familiar with the Hegemony series, it's kind of like a mix of like a Paradox grand strategy game and kind of like the Total War series, I guess. It has the logistics and I would say the depth of maybe a Total War game, but it's pausable. You can play it in real time and pause it like you do in a grand strategy Paradox game. So let's jump right into the campaign. So there's two scenarios here in the campaign. There's a unification of Italy. There's Etruria. And actually this is actually this is a new workshop DLC actually for this game. This is the Kingdom of Macedon sandbox. So the Hegemony series has 3 games in it. It's one, Wars of Ancient Greece, which is Hegemony 1. That came out a while ago. It was a few years ago. There was a sequel that's Hegemony Rome, The Rise of Caesar. It focuses on Rome and the conquests of Caesar. And then there's this game here, which is actually set prior to the rise of Alexander the Great and the Diadochi. So this is supposed to take place, right, centuries before the Republic. Rome was just one of many factions fighting for control of the Apennine Peninsula, right? So you can play as the Etruscans, the Samnites, Greeks, and you can play as whoever you want. There's a large, very, very large map. It can easily get complicated. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We'll do the Unification of Italy campaign, and I'll just show you guys around a little bit, show you around the game. So here are all of the, quote, major factions or peoples that exist here. You can pick any one of these guys, actually, and then the rest will obviously be AI. So, probably most people pick Rome. They're the faction group, they're Latin, right? Or you can come down here, and I'm actually gonna, for this little tutorial thing, I'm actually gonna go ahead and come over here and pick Ratian or Raytheon. So you click on your faction. There's a few options, but we're just gonna leave it at default. And let's go ahead and enter the game. So we are Raytheon, who are Greek. They were a Greek city-state in Magna Graecia at this time. It's actually interesting. It doesn't give you a year, so you don't know per se, when anything takes place. I guess there's no year, quote. So this is the campaign map. It looks like a chessboard, sort of, right? There's these tiles, and there's these, resource deposits, and this is your main city, right? So each city has a center or an area of control around it. It needs food to grow. It needs wood to build. And you actually need manpower to recruit troops. So if we click on our city here, we have a capital city of Raytheon right over here on the border with Sicily. Actually, this is Syracuse here. Syracuse would have been here at this time. Lilybaeum would have been owned by Carthage, and so this is Raytheon, however you want to say it. And so basically, the first thing that you want to do when you start up this game is you just want to expand a little bit, right? You want to build up your industry. See, I can pause the game right now. You see this red border around, it shows it's paused. When I click the spacebar, it unpauses, game advances in real time. So it's mid-spring, week 1. Even the seasons have quite a bit of an effect on your nation. So let's come over here and let's check what we have around the map. So we have a fishery here, we have a fishery up here, we have a small camp up here. Camps are temporary military outposts. They kind of help defend your territory. Looks like we have some enemy raiders over here. We got some skirmishers. I have another camp and a logging camp. So let's go ahead and we're gonna come over here and let's get some troops, right? So we can get Greek hoplites or hoplites, right? Their upkeep is 50 a week, and they need 75 men to be at full strength. We're not gonna go that expensive. Let's actually come over here and let's get some spearmen. Greek Siloi are slingers, conscripted from the poor or the slaves. The Siloi are light-ranged troops. Peltists are javelin and spear troops. They can support the battle line with their ranged attack. I'm actually leaning towards getting maybe one more spearman. Silhouette, let's see, melee attack 75, missile defense 40. What's her missile attack is 40 actually. Let's actually get some peltists, yeah. And so this is our general. It's actually a woman. Her name is Hippolytus, and her food consumption is minus 30%. Her missile damage is up 60% for whatever army she's attached to. So we're still paused, right? So we're not actually advancing anything right now. So we can go ahead and unpause. And let's come over here and select our troops. We can actually tell them to move out of the city, and they will receive recruitments and or receive recruits and troops and supply and food as long as they're in your supply lines and you have the resources to give them. So this is what I call the strategic map, and this one zoomed in is called the tactical map, right? So this is where you handle tactical battle formations, and this is where you handle your economy and your empire. Obviously, if you take a look at here, you can just zoom out. This is where I start. This is where we start, and this is the whole map. This is all of the Italian peninsula. This is Illyria. Up here is, you know, like northern Italy, Lombardia. A lot of Gallic people actually live up here right now. So this is definitely before, say, the time period of like Total War Rome 2, right? This is centuries before that time period. Even Alexander. This isn't very close to Alexander. Alexander was 323 BC. Total War Rome 2 starts in 272 BC. This is like centuries before that, right? So Italy's up for grabs. You know, there's a lot of different peoples that live here, so it's pretty interesting stuff. Let's come over here, and I want to find my general. Where'd she get to? There she is. It looks like she's actually, I don't know why it's a man. That's weird. Okay. I'm pretty sure that it's supposed to be a woman, but okay. Okay. Anywho, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try and seize these fisheries, right? So we need to have some food. The city will produce some food on its own. It will grow on its own, but having more food from your supply lines is very important, right? So let's move out the formation over here. Let's get some workers. So this is a units tab. This is the improvements tab where you can grow and you can build buildings. And then this is the stats tab where it shows you everything that you need to know about your economic breakdown in regards to your troops or your city. So you'll often be zooming in and out of this screen. So I gotta admit, the game does look okay. It's not the greatest by any means. I mean, you know, they've added some stuff here, like you got like a hoplite patrolling over here. You know, you got some people talking. You got like a guard here. There's like a little stand. This is obviously a port. They got a little boat. You know, some fishes or a fisherman, right? There's, I think these are birds right here. So you can see the game looks okay. The graphics are not bad. You know, it was released in 2015. Whoa, look at all these enemy troops. Check that out. Skirmishers and slingers. Interesting. Let's go ahead and engage these troops, actually. So let's get to the combat. So the combat is very much kind of like Total War Rome 2. You have battalions of men. You send them out to go and fight. There's not a lot of, per se, tactics. It's more of your unit composition. We can change this guy's stance. Range stance. Looks like our spearmen are holding up pretty well. So obviously spearmen are engaging these skirmishers. Skirmishers are not very strong troops. So our spearmen and our peltists should come out on top. The graphics are pretty nice, right? These guys, these spearmen don't look very like they have a lot of armor. Neither do the peltists. The peltists actually do have pretty accurate hats here. Peltists really did use those hats. Ooh, actually looks like our infantry line has broken. So it looks like our infantry line is broken. And we're taking some casualties here. You can see there's blood. I can actually move around the map just like that. And so it looks like we're beating them out here. We actually just routed 2 enemy brigades. We're taking some shots from these slingers here. So let's try to attack at a distance. I'm not sure if actually we are attacking at a distance. We might have to break and route pretty soon. So obviously slingers, they're good against a lightly armored infantry. So the game will issue you some objectives and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Let's actually go ahead and retreat and withdraw from this position here. So it looks like we're not gonna be able to beat these slingers yet. We do need to replenish. Your troops actually don't immediately retreat from battle. You have to tell them to retreat, and usually they'll try and fight on, but they'll also break after a while. So up here in this bar, that as you can see here, this might look familiar because it kind of looks like a paradox interactive sort of mechanic, it'll give you notifications up here about troops and stuff like that, your economy, things like that. So let's come over here. So we have low morale. Obviously, we have some troops that ran from combat, so they have low morale. We have a unit ready for promotion, our spearmen here. So we can actually come over here and we can click on this guy here. He doesn't have a general assigned because, you know, my general got wounded. But what we can do is we can come over here. Whoopsies. Where's actually my upgrade button? Where to get to? There we go. So you have to click on the unit. Whoa, actually, what's going on here? Oh, actually, I have to click on this guy. Or, God, where's that button? This guy. Open the upgrade window. There it is. I was trying to find that button. So you open this upgrade window here. And so for every brigade, as they gain experience, they will build up these experience points, and you can actually assign different officers and things like that to them. As they take casualties, I believe they lose a little bit of experience, right? So if your troops are always getting beaten by the enemy, you're always going to have, you know, fresh troops. They're not going to be experienced. So let's come over here. Resources in this early game are pretty damn important. You want to minimize your food consumption for your troops as much as possible, and you want to make them as strong as possible per troop. So let's go ahead and get this charge strength and charge block, the field tactician. Right, so there he is. So we're going to unpause and let's withdraw over here to our city for a little while. So as you take casualties, your troops will be replenished with recruits. Now the thing is, so this is your manpower, basically manpower from Paradox Development Studio Games. The thing is about this button, or this statistic, recruit / manpower, it comes back very slowly. So you really don't gain a lot of men, adult fighting men, to replenish your armies. You really don't get it back very fast here. So you can see here 2 per week, and there's 52 weeks in a year. So it takes over a year to get more than like 100 men in any city. And even then, there's a manpower cap depending on how big your city is. So this city is this is my capital province. It's a 1 level city. So you can have a maximum of 80 manpower, and that's for troops, that's for civilian workers, that's for everything. So you really got to be kind of careful. You have to be cautious about how you use your manpower, because if you can't support your troops, or your troops don't have the men that they need, then you will never be successful. So you have to choose your battles wisely, and even more so, you have to choose your wars pretty wisely. So let's go ahead and engage these slingers. They're actually moving on my city. Our general is actually in convalescence, so we actually can't use her right now. So let's attack these slingers here. Our spearmen are moving up, and obviously slingers versus spearmen. Our spearmen are going to win, so we're going to handle that pretty good. And okay, so let's actually move on here, and let's actually send. Yeah, we will support. So to capture buildings, you just have to, you know, kind of go up and capture them. Although they won't immediately function on their own, you actually have to do 2 things. 1, you have to get workers into the building, into this fishery, to fish, obviously. And 2, you actually have to build a supply line to your city. Every resource building doesn't immediately go to your city. You actually have to send the supplies there, right? So it's kind of like a Paradox Interactive or Development, Total War game. But there's logistics involved, moving supplies, moving troops, moving manpower. It's a very important aspect of the game. In fact, that's probably the single greatest factor that separates this strategy game from other strategy games that are like it. So let's come over here back to Raytheon. Let's recruit some Greek workers. We can recruit scouts as well. Those are non-combat troops. Let's take a look at, we have an empty resource building, right? So we have an officer upgrade. Let's come over here, and here's the officer screen. So let's go ahead. Let's get, how about a hunter? Yeah, sounds good. Let's come over here to our city. Let's recruit our worker, and let's send them to this fishery. And so they're going to march over here to this fishery. They're going to work the fishery. Obviously you can see, you know, little boats, and there's a little roof up top up here. And so they're going to work the fishery. This is my flag. And then the fishery will actually send along this supply line, this road, as you can see here, there's an ox. It'll actually send the food back to my capital city. Look at all the troops and stuff they're hanging out. That's pretty cool. So yeah, and so you know, that's a lot of what this game is about, at least in the early game, is you got to build up your cities, you got to have them grow, you got to get your manpower, your income in order. As you can see, I actually have negative income right now. There's not a lot of buildings that produce money, whereas everything that you do often costs a pretty good penny. Maintaining camps costs money. Maintaining supply lines costs money. To rebuild structures costs money. To maintain and pay for troops, professional troops, takes money. The only ways that you generate income are through working some buildings. They generate a small amount, and then actually having mines. And so I found that money is a very large issue for a lot of the game. Actually, you just never really have enough money. So as you can see here, these men are being supplied with food because we have enough food to supply them with. This little indicator has come up that our city is ready to expand, so we can come over here and we can actually check out our city here. It's ready to expand. Population growth 20 out of 20. And so we can upgrade. So we need 75 wood to upgrade. Our population go from 1 to 2. Food consumption will increase, but our income will also increase. We make more money, the more people there are, the more taxes, right? And then recruitment, we will actually gain more manpower. So let's go ahead and click that button and upgrade our city. We have an unassigned general, so let's go ahead and take her. And we can actually just assign her to one of these divisions here. I will admit some of the animations are a little weird. This game is priced at a fairly full, cost, but ooh, we actually have some enemy troops here. Very interesting. It's an expensive game, but I feel like it's pretty interesting. I got it on sale actually, so I can't speak for anybody who's bought it for full price, but this game is interesting. I think if you want something to change it up from a Paradox Development Studio game, or if you want to change up from, a Total War game, this is an interesting game at the very least. Looks like we're taking some casualties. How are we doing in this battle here? So this is obviously the strength and the morale of your men. As this decreases, you lose your strength. Actually, my morale is 54% right here. It's actually good, pretty good here. And so looks like we actually just broke that enemy formation here. Okay, so we broke some more troops. So actually, I can also capture these troops and make them slaves, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and finish off these guys. Finish off these slingers. Peltists are going to make some good work. They're going to do some good work, yeah. So obviously my melee will do just fine. My infantry. And let's keep sending out some troops. So obviously you can see here, these guys are actually getting replenished because they're in my supply zone. So that's pretty awesome. That's very important. Fighting offensive wars is very difficult because you can't always supply your troops, right? You need to burn villages to get food, and you have to, do things like that. So war is very interesting in this game because you have to worry about supply and logistics and things like that. Maybe a little more so than in other games. Let's see here. So we have some wood, we have some food. We have a good amount of recruits actually. We'll need some more workers, so let's go ahead and recruit some workers. What else do we have to do? Let's go ahead and select our workers, and let's send them to the fishery up here that we're about to capture. We've actually just seized this camp, so this camp will help us defend this area. It actually provides visibility into this road that leads to that city. You can see here when you kill people, there's like their bodies will stay around for a while. These little gizzards will fly about. So I think that's pretty cool. When you're sieging down stuff, you actually kind of burn it down. You can see here there's men and women training and stuff like that. And then you actually, when you're sieging stuff, it'll like be on fire and it'll look like it's burning down. And then when you capture it, it'll go away. And so I don't know, that's kind of interesting stuff too that happens. Just little things like that make the game kind of nice to see. So we've captured some buildings here. Let's go ahead and just deploy the troops over here for a little while. And we've seized this city here. Let's see, so we get 26 food from here. We actually don't get any money though, which is a shame because it's actually kind of expensive to maintain all of this. We actually, do we have, what is this here? These slaves? They're defeated units. Interesting. So actually, I can actually come over here and let's actually capture some of these troops. So it'll come over here, it'll capture these troops, and I can do what I want with these slaves actually. So I'll just send them to that fishery, I guess. Let's see here. We have enemy units in sight. Obviously, they're down here by this camp. We can probably go back and engage them. There's actually a vineyard right here. Vineyards will produce olives for oil that generate mostly gold, and then farms can produce grapes for wine. So that's pretty awesome. Let's actually go ahead and capture that vineyard. And so yeah, so this is Hegemony 3. I think this game is kind of interesting, I would maybe like to play more of it in a Let's Play series. I have like 4 different series going on right now, so maybe we'll have to do that a little later. But I just wanted to show you guys, what this game is, if you guys haven't seen it before. If you guys want to see me play this game, please let me know. I would love to do that for you guys. It's an interesting game. I think it might be a little slow paced for some people compared to say like Total War or Paradox or something like that. But I think it's interesting. So please let me know if you want to see more of this game, and I would be happy to oblige for a new Let's Play series or something like that. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment.